Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the PD16 Perspective. I am your host, John Reed, and here we have a very special interview as we are preparing for celebrations with Juneteenth. It gives me great pleasure to meet with this evening the head of the NAACP and Stafford, Ms. Yolanda Rousell. Joining her as well is Nicole Peters, also Paulette Tucker. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we are excited at what you're going to do this upcoming weekend with Juneteenth.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Pleasure. And so what I would like to do is just kind of take a few moments and go around the horn and talk about some of the preparations you've made, Madam President, and when going into this event. So can you kind of give us a little behind the scenes of how things have gone in putting this all together?
Well, I presented, it was funny because I presented to the team a synopsis of what I thought our Juneteenth celebration should look like. And I think this was late February, early March. And I said to them, listen, these are my thoughts. Now you guys can scrap it and start fresh, or you can reduce it, or you can build on it. And they decided to build on it. And things just started developing. You know, I promised folks when they come on board as members of our executive board that we meet twice a month. We meet once for for an executive committee meeting, and then we meet to present to the general membership. I never dreamed that I would be saying to the team, guys, we have to meet every week for this, because it just kept developing. And so now it has blossomed into what we will be presenting on the 18th.
Wonderful. And so, Paulette, I know you're doing a lot with the event and putting it all together. Can you give us a preview of what we'll be expecting this upcoming Saturday?
Sure, John. First of all, good evening, everybody. And thank you, Madam President, for allowing me this opportunity to come on and expound upon our Juneteenth celebration. We are looking for a grand event. We will have churches that are over 100 years old that are going to be out, and we will be recognizing them on the program, as well as some other fun little things that's going on that day. I can't tell you everything to give away all my little brilliant secrets, but we are looking for a grand event. A lot of singing, a lot of dancing, and a lot of history will be going on the day. We do have activities for the young people. There will be a bouncy house there. The fire.
Don't give it all now. You're going to take away from the.
You just get
You're going to take away from the slideshow.
Really excited about what's going on, but we're going to have something for all age groups out there. So we're just asking everyone to come out and enjoy the day.
Absolutely. And Nicole, I want to go to you and just talk about, because you've been operating a lot with the vendors as well. And imagine putting something of this magnitude at Colonial Forge, I imagine it could be a lot of work, a lot of collaboration. So can you talk a little bit about that and how you'll put that together?
Well, it's actually, and thank you, John. It's actually been great working with the vendors and trying to pull this together. I'm really amazed at the variety of vendors that we have. Some companies that we had not heard of before, but I will say that we have a great variety. It's a collection of food vendors by way of food truck. We have several direct sales companies, a lot of small businesses, crafters, and even some nonprofit organizations that will be out displaying the services that they provide to our local community.
Wonderful. And so, Madam President, I want to go to you just real quick before go to the presentation and take a moment, if you will, and just talk about the importance of this event, because with a lot of Juneteenth celebrations are starting to grow more and more and starting to become aware. But with the Stafford NAACP has done so much already in the community. Can you just relate to its importance of having this event and bringing everybody together for it?
Well, this event came just at the right time for us. We had already decided that this year we would focus on educating our community. Our theme this year is educate to advocate, then activate. So when when I put that together and then thinking about Juneteenth, I'm like, my God, what a wonderful time to put together a program that's going to be exciting, that's going to be celebratory, but most important, it's going to be educational. And there are other things that we are doing throughout the year. And I'll mention it here. We are doing the Hidden Colors series. So needless to say, we're going to present that and show the trailer so that we can get folks to understand the importance of learning who we are and what we are. And with that comes the opportunity to stand up for ourselves and not wait for someone else to take hold of that. I'm just a firm believer that once we know who we are, then we know what we need to do collectively in order to get what's due us. And God knows it's long overdue.
Absolutely, it is. And so we have a presentation that you want to bring together as well. So what I do is we're at the time, go ahead and bring that together. And then, ladies, if you want, however you like to present it, and we can proceed from there.
Okay, sounds great.
Right, wonderful. And so I'll bring up the presentation for those who are watching now. And this is just give us the origin of the event as well. And so
Right.
if you can just kind of expand upon this and talk more about it.
Well, you know, as many of your viewers may already know, June 19th, 1865 is the day that the enslaved Africans in Texas got the news, you know, that they were no longer slaves. Now, it only took, what, 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation to get this news. But the excitement of the news for most of them was experienced in that moment. Thanks to Opal Lee, it became a national holiday in June of last year. And it's funny, it's being celebrated 15 days before the 4th of July. Okay, so on Saturday, June 18th, the Stafford branch of the NAACP will join the nation in commemorating this moment in time. We are being hosted by the Stafford County Public Schools, and the host location is Colonial Forge High School at 550 Courthouse Road. Fabulous, fabulous high school. The doors will open at 10:15, allowing the attendees to, you know, spend some time with our vendors and to look over and place bids on the items that will be on display for our silent auction. And by the way, we are still accepting donations. Nicole will tell you a little more about that later. The program itself will start at 11 a.m. Let me tell you, you want to be there for the opening. It sets the tone. Okay, can you slide 3? Okay, so now we'll talk about the attractions and activities. Next slide. We will, as Paulette mentioned earlier, we're going to have the moon bounce. We've got games for the children, and that comes by way of NCNW, the National Council of Negro Women. Parks and Recs will bring Kids Zone to the venue, along with the beautiful artwork that was created by 8 of the Stafford, all 8 actually, of the Stafford middle schools, and they will be on display just outside of the event entrance. So some folks are gonna get stuck out there before coming inside looking at this beautiful artwork. There will be gift bags for the children, and they're gonna include the Juneteenth commemorative coloring book and a lot of other things that we are putting in there. The Stafford Museum and Cultural Center will present their Via Colori project. Now, I wasn't familiar with that, but I did my little research and I'm like, wow, this is beautiful stuff. So it's going to be, they're going to be producing it so that everybody could watch the artwork as it's developing. The Stafford Sheriff's Department, as well as our County Fire Department, will be there for protection and medical service, of course, but also they're looking forward to spending time with the kids, okay? Next slide. All right, so this obviously will be an indoor and outdoor event. So inside, where everything begins, there will be what we're calling an edu-drama or reenactment of that day with a touch of humor added. phenomenal singers, African drummers and dance troupe, liturgical dancers, poets, guest speakers. I mean, it's just an array of people and events that were happening inside. Now, outside, to keep everything lively, we have DJ T. I had an opportunity, we all had an opportunity to meet him today. He's going to be playing music that will not only have everyone out there dancing and kind of filling the air, but he's going to have music that's going to have folks thinking. Okay. So slide 5. Here we're talking about some of our sponsors. We've got Big Bad W. He's providing food inside, and he's going to have his food truck outside. We have the National Council of Negro Women. Of course, I've spoken about the police department, the fire department. Needless to say, the schools, the Stafford County schools, and the Museum of Cultural, Museum of Cultural, I just called it, so I can't remember the full name, but they're the ones that are going to be bringing in the Via Calori. And of course, if you will go to the next slide, Paulette will talk about the t-shirts and the silent auction.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So as you can see that we will have t-shirts, and I know on our Eventbrite page that we had the t-shirts up for sale. We will have some on site for sale. And if you don't get there in time enough to get one of the ones on site, do not be dismayed. You will still be able to order your t-shirt. And you will be able to get them within 3 to 5 business days. So we are still, we have 2 different designs. One is going to be black and one is going to be white. And it will have the our banner on it that you see in our backgrounds that is going to be on our t-shirt, as well as stating that this event was sponsored by Stafford NAACP.
Nicole's going to talk about the vendors and the sponsors before this slide.
Okay, well, first I wanted to say that we still have space available for vendors and food trucks. This celebration, it's just going to be amazing. And of course, it'll provide an amazing opportunity for community and small business vendors to showcase their business, put their brands out there, whether it's direct sales, food, crafts, or even if it's a nonprofit that just wants to highlight their organization. There are, lots of benefits from participating. And some of those benefits are even business exposure, because we know it's easier for an event like this where we have the community out and concentrated, and then you get to pretty much host a pop-up shop. You can have, there's opportunities to do like cash and carry sales. And then of course, just getting out to put your brand in front of the community to meet other people and to interact with other vendors for networking relationships. So I think that that's going to be wonderful. But if none of those, and I hope I'm not jumping too far, Madam President, wanted to talk about our sponsors, because if none of those opportunities actually work out, we also have the opportunity for people and businesses to support us by way of being a sponsor. As a sponsor, the business would be acknowledged throughout the program, and even on some of our electronic display boards that'll play throughout. And so that will help us out tremendously, because as you can imagine, an event of this caliber, and making it free to the public, it comes with an enormous expense. So all of the fees from our vendors, or even money that's come in through our private sponsors, that those will all go towards this event, because that's what makes us able to allow this to be free to the public.
So that being said, this is for the public. This is the NAACP saying, we love you. This is our community. All of Stafford County is our community, but we are also inviting our neighbors, our neighbor communities. We've got folks that are going to be coming in from DC, different parts of the county that's pretty, nearby. And, we want them to come in and we want them to have a great time, but we also want the members of Stafford to welcome our visitors and help them have a great time. We know that that there are folks who are probably going to decide that they're going to stay home because of the cost of gas, because it's a huge holiday weekend. It's not just Juneteenth, it's Father's Day. So if they don't have to get on the highway traveling north or south, they'll stay home. We're saying you don't have to stay home. Colonial Forge is very easy to get to. You can take almost any back road and you'll get there. You can avoid 95 altogether. So we're hoping that they will come out. The support that we're getting from the county is phenomenal. So they're definitely expecting it to be a great event. And we are too.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you all so much for that. And I want to ask this, Madam President, as we because as you talk about with all the efforts of people, Stafford County Public Schools, the police, and so many great organizations coming together. And we're going to learn a lot about the history, but also, and it goes back to what you said earlier about advocating. And so can you talk about what are you looking at going forward from this event and how it can lead from education to advocacy?
Well, it's like anything else. It's hard to advocate for anything if you don't know what it is you're advocating for. That's the educational piece. Okay. So with what we have been doing since the beginning of the year, we've been, we've got folks who are claiming CRT and fighting against CRT, something that's not being taught in the schools anyway. But we understand that their reasoning behind it is because many of them know who we are. Our problem is we don't know who we are. Okay. And once we know exactly who we are, we have a leg to stand on as it relates to advocating for things like, being treated fairly and equitably. Equality is all well and fine, but there's a difference between equality and equity. And that's the thing that we are not seeing. We're not seeing equity. And because we don't know what it looks like, and we don't know exactly who we are and why we deserve it, it's hard to advocate. So that's where we are now. We're in the education stage. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it does. And that's something as we've been talking a lot about our show is, inspiring people, but also educating them with truth. And by doing so, it will inspire them and move them even further to advocacy and making a difference in Stafford County.
Absolutely.
And so we are going to be excited. We are looking forward to being there on Saturday covering the event and everything that's going to come together. And we are so honored that you all took time of your busy schedules to bring this all together. Madam President Yolanda Rousell, we want to thank you, Nicole Peters, also, and Paulette Tucker. Thank you all so much for being with us in this special edition of PD 16 Perspective. This is John Reed. We're looking forward to being with you live this upcoming Saturday on Juneteenth at Colonial Forge High School. Make sure you're there probably at 11 a.m. as the ceremony begins. It's going to be a great day. Education, the advocacy. Ladies, thank you so much. We're looking forward to seeing you then.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Bye-bye.
Don't read the PD 16 Perspective, and we'll see you in upcoming this Saturday at Juneteenth at Colonial Forge High School in Stafford, Virginia. Take care, everyone.